Think of the times you flew in an airplane or rode in a car, moving at high speeds to your next location, air rushing around your vehicle. Or maybe think of a roaring river rushing through some rocks. These are some examples of fluids in everyday life. Fluids are gases or liquids that deform to their surroundings without resistance and have the ability to flow. Studying fluids is important for engineers because it gives us insight that is useful when designing things like vehicles and medicines, all the way to power plants. As a practical example, think of the design of a boat. The front end is pointed to reduce the water or the fluid resistance effect and make the boat more efficient. The most common way of understanding the phenomena present in flows is to simulate them with computers. An example of a simulation of water in a stream is shown here. What isn't shown here is the amount of calculations that are done to get a simple video like this one. As the complexity of the flow increases, greater computational resources are required to gain insight on the flow. For this reason, scientists and engineers rely on supercomputers such as the one shown here from NASA. These supercomputers are usually used to solve some variation of the Navier-Stokes equations shown here. These equations are hypothesized by the entire scientific community to describe flows, but there is no rigorous proof that this is true. In fact, there's $1 million reward to whoever can prove this. To make the simulations more accessible to flows relevant to engineer, the Navier-Stokes equations are averaged, which results in the Reynolds stress transport equations shown here in the second row. These equations can be grouped into terms as shown here to make them easier to understand. My research is concerned with using machine learning to model the term shown in green called the velocity pressure gradient correlation. To model the velocity pressure gradient correlation, we use a technique called multiple linear regression, which minimizes the sum of the square of the errors between the model, shown as a black line, and the data, shown in black dots. This produces a simple linear model with high fidelity as shown in the figure on the right. This technique allows us to create new linear models with as many terms as necessary. Therefore, our work consists mostly of developing and understanding the models that best describe the phenomena. I complete my research in pen and paper derivations and on my laptop. Therefore, my lab is wherever I can sit down with my laptop and work. In this clip, I am working in a library coding on MATLAB. Whenever I get tired of a particular scenery, I'm able to move around to a new location to complete my work, which is really nice. The city of Albuquerque, where I live, has many cool spots such as parks and moderate weather throughout the year, so I can frequently change where I do my research. Since I'm working on the computer alone, I can get some help from this little guy, and no one can tell the difference. A cool part of doing research is that I get to present it at conferences. So far, I've been able to present at two different conferences where I had to write papers and make presentations. Now I hope to publish in a journal with my professor.